Hello, my name is Tola Labi. I'm a graphic designer and I'm going to be one of your mentors for this year's Logomarch. And this video is just a little orientation to tell you about what Logomarch is all about and to give you some tips about how to handle the experience, because doing logos one day after the other is kind of different from taking up a logo project. So I'm going to give you some tips that would help you know how to get the best out of this exercise. So I want you to listen closely. Now, Logomarch is a logo design challenge. It's like a logo marathon. Now you're going to work on logo briefs for 7 consecutive days. So you're going to have a brief for each day to work on. And at the end of each day, you're going to turn in your logo designs, and it's going to be critiqued by the mentors we've chosen for this year's challenge. So it's pretty simple. It's just a logo marathon. And the aim is to get you to develop your logo design skills. So the idea is to get better by practice, by consistent practice. So it's meant to jumpstart an exercise that we hope would end up being a regular practice for you as a logo designer. I'm going to tell you things that might help you to get the best out of this experience. Number one thing is to keep at the back of your mind that it is not a competition. Now, Logomarch is a challenge, but it's not a competition. It's not about who sends in their logo design first, and we're not going to be picking who has the best logo of the day or the general best logo for the competition. It's a personal challenge. As I say, look at it like running a marathon. It's something you're challenging yourself to do, and just to say, look, I can do this. So it's more about your personal development than it is about competing with people. So when you take part in this exercise, you will definitely see people whose skills are better than yours, and you'll see people whose skills are not as good as yours, but we would like you to focus on your journey and focus on your progress during this exercise. The second thing to keep at the back of your mind is it's not about speed, it's about time management and focus. So I guess a lot of people will think, oh, it's about how fast I can get a logo done. No. If you want to get through this Logomarch exercise and you want to enjoy the experience, you must know it's not about speed. It's about time and focus. So what I would advise, for me, the golden number is 2 hours. Now, what I would advise is to have 2 hours that you can focus on the project or the brief for the day. Now, I know some of us have a lot of time on our hands, and there are some of us that might be working and taking part in this challenge, so you don't have a lot of time. But I would say 2 hours. Now, that 2 hours might be at a stretch for you to have time on your hands, but if you're working, I would advise you can break it up into segments of 30 minutes to add up into 2 hours. So you have 30 minutes a day. That means 4 segments of 30 minutes, and you come up with your 2 hours. So if you can focus on the brief for 2 hours, it doesn't have to be the entire day. You'll be surprised at what you can come up with. Now, the third thing I'm going to be talking about is your mode of research. Now, there's a temptation, and this is not just for Logomarch, it's just for when you're working on a logo. A lot of people have that temptation to go and look at other people's logos to get inspiration. Now that is not bad, but I would advise that would not be your main source of inspiration, especially with this kind of challenge where you don't really have enough time to source for inspiration. I wouldn't advise you go and start looking at other designers' logos, whether it's online or social media or stuff like that, because that's what we call secondary inspiration. That means you are feeding off someone else's finished product. So your work is definitely not going to be as good as that person, because it's secondary. That person has been creative, and you're just feeding off that person's creativity. If you really want to be creative, I would advise that you get your inspiration from a primary source. And what do you say? What is the primary source? A primary source can be going out into nature, looking at something that is not a logo. It's not a finished logo. So you might just be looking at a photo. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we give you a challenge to come up with a logo for a confectionery company or a bakery or stuff like that. I wouldn't advise you go and start looking at logos for bakeries, but I would advise you look at images of cakes, of cupcakes, and get inspired by the colors, and that will now inform the logo you come up with. So that will be your primary inspiration. So whatever you come up with will be fresh and original. So take note of where you get your inspiration from and your mode of research. And number 4, I would advise that you are open to new things and new experiences. One thing we're going to be doing in this year's Logomarch that is different from how we've been doing Logomarch in the past is every single brief will be asking you to explore a different type of logo design. Now, if you're not familiar with this, there are different types of logo design, different types of logos. You have word marks, symbols, you have monograms, combination logos. Now, I'm not going to be able to go through everything in this video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the description that's going to really go in depth about the types of logos, so that when we do tell you, or you should design this type of logo, you can always refer to this link. So you want to always keep this link accessible to you, so that you can always go to that link. So it will open your mind and to show you visual representations or examples of different styles of logos. So don't say, look, I'm not a good illustrator, so I'm not going to go for any type of logo that involves me having to illustrate. Be open to new things. Remember, it's about doing, get out of your comfort zone. It's not about how beautiful your logo is, but just getting to learn and getting professionals to tell you where you could improve. So don't shy away from a mode of logo design or style of logo design that you're not familiar with. I would advise that you embrace new things. Now, my fifth advice is going to be trust your instincts. Now, you got to realize that you have just a few hours to come up with a logo. Now, you don't really have a lot of time to second guess yourself, so you have to trust your instincts. While developing, very important is you need to start sketching early, sketch ideas early, and when you feel that you've come up with an idea that you like, or that you think best addresses the brief, go with it. You do not have time to try to develop another idea. You must trust your instincts. One thing I realized as a designer is that when I'm given a logo brief to work on, I always have an idea in my head and I go to sketch, and if it works out, then I trust my instincts and go for it. And 90% of the time, my first ideas are always the best ideas. So go with your instincts, trust your instincts, and go straight from your sketch. When you've solved it in sketch mode, go straight to develop it in the software that you're comfortable with. The sixth thing that I'm going to be talking about is submissions. Now, you finished designing the logo. We have a standard format for submission for this year's Logomarch, and I'm going to show you on the screen right now. It has to be a square format. So whatever it is, it can be 1000 by 1000 pixels, 2000 by 2000 pixels. It can be whatever, but you just have to make sure that it's high enough resolution for us to appreciate your logo, and it has to be JPEG format. Now, 4 information that should be on your submission. Number 1 should be your logo design, the logo you're proposing. Number 2 should be your name. Number 3 should be the name of the brand we're giving you to work on for the day. And number 4 should be the day of the submission. Now, it can be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. It just helps us to keep a good record. So make sure you have this 4 information on your submission. Now, the last advice I'll be giving you is probably the most important, which is have fun. Have fun. Remember, you got into logo design because you enjoy doing it. So this part of the experience, and I would advise that you have fun. You learn best when you are having fun. So have fun. Don't get discouraged. I know that some things might come up during the week or during the challenge that might stop some of you from participating in every single day, but don't give up. Don't think, I missed one day, so I probably should just drop out of the whole exercise. No, get back on board. If you miss one day, it's okay, get back on board. If you miss 2 days, get back on board. If all you can do is just 2 or even 1 day, as long as you're registered, try to participate in the exercise and get something from it. So let me officially welcome you to this year's Logomarch. Let's have some fun.